Mr. Stone, I was glad to see the chairman point out the fact that, in your guidance on conductivity standards, you said that they could not exceed 500 Siemens, and Perrier would exceed that. So should I not put Perrier in my fish tank? Or should I not swim in it? Or should I not drink? I'm trying to understand, what exactly is, are we setting as a threshold?
First of all, in the guidance, 500 is not a standard, as you suggested. It's, again, based on the science. It's a benchmark. But what it's designed to do is to protect freshwater communities. So there's fish and various different kinds of creatures that live in freshwater and some that live in saltwater. This is freshwater communities, and what we're doing is based on the science, what's necessary to protect those. And what we have seen is that high conductivity levels are linked with high levels of dissolved solids that are detrimental to that stream life. So the conductivity limit is about protecting 95% of the species that one would find in a mountain stream.
Well, but what I'm concerned about is whether or not you put out these guidance documents and then you strong arm those permittees by threatening your use of your veto power. So it's kind of like, we want you to, this is a guidance, but if you don't meet it, remember we can veto you over here. That what concerns, I believe, not only me, but my colleagues here is what goes on, not in this committee room in your answers, but when y'all close the door and put those companies in your office. Believe you me, as a business owner, I wouldn't deny that y'all do that because I've experienced it. The other thing that kind of strikes me is that Section 101F of the Clean Water Act states, and I quote, it is the national policy that to the maximum extent possible, the procedures utilized for implementing this act shall encourage the drastic minimization of paperwork. Now, considering that a 404 permit required an EIS on a permit that a study that I mentioned earlier, that spanned over 1,600 pages, including 58 pages just to respond to your EPA comments, would you say that y'all are failing to actively implement that section?
Most 404 permits are issued through a general permit process, and that's about 80,000 per year, as I understand it, and they take less than 90 days. So that's how most 404 authorizations occur.
Well, now, I want you to know something. Look, I've got levee districts back in Louisiana that basically can't repair their levees because the cost of your permit is more expensive than the cost to repair the levee. Do you understand what kind of effect y'all are having?
I agree with you on the importance of limiting paperwork and in speed and efficiency in government operations. That's in everybody's interest. I completely agree.
Well, I don't understand because back when the Chaffalay Basin levee was first, or when it was strengthened back in the 80s, the 404 permit came like that. But yet, so at a time when the 404 permits started, the issuance of them happened at a quicker pace. But yet, as time has dragged on, the amount of time that it's taken to get that permit has continued to exceed what it was prior to it. So what you're saying, your actions don't match the rhetoric.
We are working closely with the Army Corps to make permit decisions expeditiously and to make decisions that meet the requirements of the law and protect public health.
Well, I'm about to run out of time, but are you familiar with the fact that y'all vetoed a permit in the Yazoo River Basin that now could come back to cost hundreds of millions of dollars if those levees fail? Do you understand that impact of what that decision may create for those people? And I don't represent Mississippi.
I was not personally involved in the decision having to do with the Yazoo pumps veto, but my understanding is that it actually was not about flooding in the Mississippi River. So it was actually about pumping backwater behind the levees. That's my understanding, and that 67,000 acres of wetlands were involved in that decision.
Have you ever lived in an area that's prone to flooding?
You know, interesting that you asked that. I grew up in a floodplain, sir. I grew up in the floodplain on the South Fork of the Shenandoah River in Waynesboro, Virginia, and my house was frequently flooded, and I'm very interested in protection against flooding.
Well, I hope that EPA never vetoes any of the permits that would protect that area you used to live in. Are you back?